Alright guys, I decided to start doing a video diary also, along with all my pictures. Figured if I could help somebody when they're rebuilding their boats, I guess it's worth it. I know this has been an ordeal for me, doing all this, and it's been a big learning experience. So, got a lot of good responses off my video yesterday. So I figured I'd get my good video camera out and instead of the iPhone to actually show a little bit better detail. So today I have cut out the fiberglass mat that was over the hole around this area right here, and that was a royal pain. I had to get my Dremel tool out and use sort of like a little rotozip tool or rotozip piece that basically kind of chewed it out right up against the wood. The bad thing is that it kind of knocked some of the epoxy off where I had put in the transom hole, so I'll just have to mix up another batch of this stinky, nasty stuff to put around there once I test fit the gimbal housing. So that is my trick for today, is to build a little jig that will help me drill these holes perfectly perpendicular to the transom or the skin right here, so that way the plate goes on nice and neat. I saw another post a while back about a little piece of wood and a DeWalt drill, and I just so happen to have a DeWalt drill, and I will make that same piece of wood to help me drill that little hole, or all these holes. And then I'm going to test fit the gimbal housing and bell housing and all that kind of good stuff, make sure everything's okay, and then go to West Marine and get some bilge coat, paint the inside of the bilge compartment. Now, one thing I've noticed, I used poly to cover all this, and it's still sticky, and it's a different brand. I went yesterday and got Elmer's from Lowe's. I know Elmer's is school glue, but they have a pretty decent epoxy, and that's what I used to cover. I used 2 layers of chop strand mat, and then 2 more layers, I'm sorry, 1 layer of chop strand and 2 layers of the 6-ounce woven over this to just kind of give me a nice good strength on the floor. And I tell you, that poly from Elmer's hardened up just rock hard, whereas this stuff is still tacky. I don't know why that's that, but it's bothering me. But if anybody knows a way to get rid of that tackiness, or if that's normal, if I can just paint right over it, you know, just let me know. But it's been in the heated garage. I don't know, the garage door's open now, but I have little heaters in here, and it was 82 degrees in here this morning, so everything is nice and cured. So anyway, I'm gonna get to drilling these holes. I'll update you in a little bit. Well, 2 hours later, and the holes are drilled, and the transom plate and gimbal housing are all test fit with all the bolts through. Not really tightened up per se, but you know, just to make sure that they're going to fit. And I did it with this little contraption to drill the holes. I saw this on somebody's post. I think it's 92XL, who's who it was. What it does is it keeps, this stays up against the back of the transom, and then this keeps the drill perpendicular. It just so happens the bottom of the battery is perfectly level with the drill bit, so therefore when it slides in, it keeps it nice and perfect. The side of it wasn't tremendously awesome. It didn't do just an awesome job of keeping it nice and level, but I've noticed that it's a little easier than what people make it out to be when you drill the holes. They went in nice and easy, and there's a little bit of play once you drill them to kind of get the gimbal nice and perfect. And I was looking at my anode bolts, and I think I'm going to need some new ones. They're kind of got some corrosion on them, and I figure, you know, you get it out, you might as well replace it now. And on the back of the transom plate, which I had not seen before, the side over closest to port has got a bunch of corrosion on the back side, but I don't think it's tremendously. I think I can wire brush it off and then put some paint on it. I think I'll be alright. I noticed when I took it apart, that ground wire that grounds the transom plate to the engine was not connected. So, but that's what I got done so far. I'm still kind of worried why this resin is so sticky. It's not, it's really kind of bothersome. And I mixed it up just like I did everything else. You can, well, you really can't hear my feet doing it now because it's, but they're kind of stuck. And then on the stuff up here where it's Elmer's, it's just as hard as a rock. And it's slick too. I'm gonna have to sand this down before I put the Duraback down. Get it nice and clean. That's it. I think I'm gonna wrap everything up. It's nasty outside. And head over to West Marine and get me some bilge coat and some more resin so I can put some resin in the holes and all that kind of stuff. And I also need to get a drain plug. I completely forgot about that. Huh. Okay, so I guess I'll get a drain plug on the West Marine too. Anyway, till next time. Well, we have reached the end of another day, and the bilge is not painted. Well, I ran to West Marine and got my bilge coat, which is right there. And I actually took it to Lowe's and had them tint it to match the boat, which actually is kind of a cream color. It's not really white. It's cream and blue. So I didn't want the inside of the bilge to be stark white. I wanted it to be a little bit more creamy. And I also had them mix up a gallon of Rust-Oleum in the same color so they match. So that way I didn't have to spend so much money to have bilge coat to do everything in here, which I didn't need. I'm just putting the bilge coat down in there and on the transom where it's really important for the stuff to stick. And after 24 hours, the floor of this is still sticky from that epoxy. I don't know if I didn't mix it hot enough or what, but it's still sticky. And I drilled all the holes. I drilled the plug hole, which is down there, and I ran epoxy all around inside the holes and around the transom hole there, and it is drying right now. And I got, let's see if I can find it. I got a brass plug. Okay, it took me a minute to find it, but I got a brass transom plug, which goes down in here. But it's 3 inches long. My transom's only 2 and a smidgen. So I guess I need to cut it down. The question is, I need to flare it, just like that. And what I thought of is cutting it down to size and then using some of my all thread with some washers to go through here to the other side, and then by tightening it down it should flare the this brass piece on the other side. And of course I got a tube of the 5200 from 3M to go through the bolt holes, and of course when this goes in here. So as you can see, there's the shininess of the stuff I put in. I also put some peanut butter right here. I had a void where the skin had cracked away, I guess, from the stress of the engine. So I'll have to kind of re-drill this one little spot where it kicks, but it has, I got some dripping too. But other than that, it's moving along. Hopefully this week I'll be able to get in here and paint this bilge. I guess I should wipe it with acetone first. I don't know. You guys tell me. Anyway, this is it. I'm tired, and it's time for beer.